election season, ABC6 News is giving candidates in Minnesota and Iowa's congressional races and U.S. Senate races a chance to speak directly to you to help you make an informed decision on how to vote. We've offered 2 minutes of airtime to each major party candidate. We're going to start with Minnesota's 1st congressional district. It covers southern Minnesota and includes the communities of Rochester, Albert Lea, Owatonna, Mankato, Winona, and Worthington. Now, here are the candidates: Republican incumbent Jim Hagedorn, Democrat Dan Fian, and Green Party candidate Billrood.
Hi, it's Jim Hagedorn of Minnesota's 1st District, and it's been an honor to serve in Congress these last 2 years on your behalf for the folks, especially here in southern Minnesota and the Rochester area and communities. I've done my best to keep focused on the district each and every day that I've been in office, and that means our farmers, our small businesses, and of course, our medical care providers. On behalf of our farmers, I championed USMCA and other trade deals, made sure that the ethanol program was worked out the way Congress intended it, and also mitigated losses through coronavirus for our independent operators. On behalf of small businesses and manufacturers, the Paycheck Protection Program has gone a long ways to keep people afloat and also help the employees stay tied to the small businesses. I worked with Congressman Pappas, a Democrat from New Hampshire, to make sure that we could get through the earned income tax credit and tie that to Paycheck Protection Program. Lastly, for our medical care providers, we made sure that all the coronavirus money came proportionally to our rural hospitals, which kept them going. And then I worked with Mayo Clinic to get them through when there was a pause in the elective surgeries and to help them with their plasma trial and get rid of regulations from the FDA. We've also been a strong supporter of our police and law enforcement. And I'm very proud to have the endorsement of the Fraternal Order Police and the Minnesota Police and Peace Officers Association. When you combine all that, I think I've looked out for the needs of southern Minnesota. We're working hard for the district. If given another 2 years term and I ask for your vote, I'll keep fighting for you, and together we'll keep fighting for America. Thank you. Thanks for watching.
My name is Dan Fian. I'm seeking to represent southern Minnesota in all of Congressional District 1 in Congress as the DFL nominee. I've been a soldier, serving 2 combat tours in Iraq, a middle school teacher after that, and served in the Pentagon, making policy on behalf of millions of service members. But I grew up here in southern Minnesota and learned that the value of service is everything. You got to take care of each other. You got to watch out for each other, especially and even when you don't agree with each other. And you got to put people first. But people are being put first right now. I have a family, 3 children, and an incredible wife, Amy. And I see the consequences of people being put last every single day, in a pandemic especially. There's a family in Rochester who has a 12-year-old with a pre-existing condition, severe physical disability. They have had enormous challenges throughout his life, but especially in this pandemic. About 2 months ago, a healthcare worker came to their house like they have happen every day, except this time that worker came to their house while sick, left their house, and then tested positive for COVID-19. Family was terrified, and thankfully COVID didn't pass on to them. But for that family and that healthcare worker, because they asked the healthcare worker, "You were sick, why'd you come to work?" Their answer was, "I always come to work when I'm sick." In other words, they didn't have a choice. They could not miss a day of work. There's so many people like that throughout southern Minnesota. These are not stories, these are real people's lives. And this is what happens when people are put last. We have a representative in Congress right now in Jim Hagedorn who has put people last, voting against prescription drug reform, being part of a lawsuit to take away protection for pre-existing conditions. And on top of that, his own personal corruption, with nearly $500,000 of your taxpayer dollars being unaccounted for. When I was in the Army, it was a real simple leadership motto: when in charge, be in charge. And I'm ready to do just that, to end this pandemic, make healthcare and prescription drugs more affordable, and protect our rural hospitals. And I'd be honored to have your vote. But if I don't, I'm going to work just as hard as I would for someone who did. Thank you.
Hello, this is Billrood, the grassroots party candidate for Congress in the 1st Congressional District. In 2018, we had to choose between 2 Washington insiders. This year, I wanted my neighbors to have a better choice, so I filed. But it's really not about the opposing candidates. It's about party leadership. All duopoly candidates, once elected, will bend to the will of party leadership. Even the squad defers to Nancy Pelosi on important issues. And who do duopoly politicians like Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell represent? They represent billionaire donors, surely not you. And that goes for both parties. Due to COVID, large corporations have increased their business while small stores and restaurants were run out of business. The CARES Act included trillions for large corporations, but little for workers or struggling small business. Mitch couldn't have passed it without Nancy's help. If there's one thing Democrats and Republicans agree on, it's war. They passed a Pentagon budget increase that wasn't even requested, and when it looked like we might withdraw from Afghanistan, they blocked it. The children of honest farmers and meat packers enlist patriotically, but when they return home with PTSD, the military finds ways to deprive them of benefits. Many are untreated and homeless. There will be no Medicare for all under Biden, who promised to veto it. The war on drugs will continue to keep the CIA funded and prisons full. Meanwhile, we are distracted with witch hunts and wedge issues like abortion and gun rights. None of this will change if we refuse to vote for third-party alternatives. We've chosen the lesser of evils for over 50 years, and things keep getting worse. Stop repeating the same action expecting different results. Thank you, KSTC KAAL, for providing this opportunity to make the case for supporting third-party candidates.
All right, tomorrow we're going to feature the candidates in the race for Minnesota's U.S. Senate race, and you can view the candidates' full statements on the Election 2020 page. You'll find that at KAAL-TV.com.